I have some breaking news from CNN. We apparently are not a republic. Now, I want you to listen to that. Please. I haven't said this in a long time, but just about everything just pisses me off so much, and I can't believe it, that I've kind of given up on my head not exploding. But I guarantee you, your head will explode on this CNN clip. So please wrap your head tightly in duct tape. It will explode, but at least you'll have all of the pieces. That way, when you walk in, they'll be like, another head explosion. And you'll have all the pieces so they can stitch it back together. But your head will explode on this. Here's the latest from CNN.
President Biden touts his re-election campaign as a fight to preserve democracy. But if you ask some Trump supporters, the former president is not a threat to democracy because the United States is not a democracy.
Obviously, there's a lot of criticisms of Trump that he is bad for democracy, that he's bad for American democracy.
Okay. We are a republic.
We're a republic.
We are not a democracy.
Republic. We're not a democracy.
One thing we've been hearing at Trump rallies like this over the past few months is that America isn't really a democracy.
America's not a democracy, it's a republic.
It's not a democracy. Okay, democracy is actually not as good as you think it is.
America is a democracy. It was founded as a democracy.
I've heard a lot of conspiracy theories. I hear a lot of things out on the road. But to hear Americans, people who would describe themselves as patriots, say that America is not a democracy, that stopped me in my tracks.
You are hearing people say America is not a democracy.
Listen to the expert.
Because there are people around Trump who want them to be saying that, who've been planting that narrative.
Okay. They've been planting that narrative. Wow. Okay, continue on, please. Play some more if there's any more. Oh, you got to get to the... okay, so see if they can give me the rest of it where they explain, where they go back and they talk to people and they're saying... You're wrong. We're not a republic. And they make this into a giant scandal. We are a republic. And to the republic for which it stands. Okay? Here's the problem. People don't understand what the difference is between a democracy. We are a democracy on voting day. One man, one vote. You go in and you use the democratic principle of one man, one vote. And you democratically elect people to their position. But what you're not doing is voting on every single law. You are voting for a representative. That representative represents you in the republic. A republic understands that people can't understand every single issue and be voting on every single issue. A republic also understands that a democracy is bad. A democracy-only country will fail every time because all you need is to whip enough people into a frenzy, schedule a vote, they'll vote the way you want them to vote. It will bring you things like the Patriot Act. When something bad happens, people will be like, we got to stop all those Japanese. Let's put them into a camp. Okay? You have a republic to slow the process down and give reason a chance. Can you imagine this country voting on every single issue when they don't even know the difference between a republic and a democracy? And when you have media that is going to experts, so-called experts, and telling us that we're not a republic? A lot of time was spent with the founders trying to find the best system. They ruled democracy out because they always fail. So they took the democratic principle, which is one man, one vote, used that to select representatives. We are a representative republic. And that you have to be able to explain that to people. You have to understand, look, democracy is a very important part of our republic. But it is not what we are. We are a democratic republic. So we vote for the people to represent us. Why is the democracy part so important? Well, the democracy part is really important because what was the war in heaven all about? If you go back and you read your scriptures and you look at the war in heaven, what was it about? It was about Satan saying, I'll cleanse all of them. You don't need anything but me. I'll go down and I will tell everyone what they're supposed to do and keep them from sinning. I'll keep them safe. And they won't make any decisions on their own. I'll tell them they can only do these things. And then Jesus stood up and said, no, they must have freedom of choice. And so I will go down and atone for all of their mistakes. So the very first thing in the very first argument in all of the scriptures, the first argument was over free choice. Do I have someone make all the decisions to keep me safe and free from all harm, or do I have a savior that will rebalance things and make sure that you're clean enough? Because no one can be clean enough. No one will ever be perfect on earth unless Satan would say somebody tells them exactly what they can and cannot do. Well, that is a misunderstanding of human nature. That is a misunderstanding of God's nature. So, one man, one vote. Yes, very important. But then take human nature into account. Human nature is to just go with their feelings. That's a bad idea. So the whole Constitution is written to restrain the government so they cannot make every decision for you like they're trying to. This is when people say government thinks it's God. Government is their God. Yes, it is, because they want it to make all of the decisions for you. Does that sound like the plan of Jesus or the plan of Satan? So you elect the representatives, they answer to you. This is why they are the ones that hold the purse. Congress is supposed to be the only one that can initiate spending. But these people who claim they're for democracy are just spending it anyway. It doesn't matter. They hold the purse. They're the closest to you. They're elected every 2 years. Why? Because you need to be able to tell your representative, no, that's not what we want. That's why every bill of spending everything needs to start with Congress. But what happened to Congress? Why isn't Congress doing anything? Well, they'll say it's because of the Republicans and the Democrats. No, it's because no one in Washington wants it to work that way. They want to be able to issue dictates. Dictate. That's the root word of something else. Oh, a dictator. They want to issue either an executive order, which is part of the American Republic, but they were never meant to be used like this. All the things that are going through executive order now are the responsibility of Congress and the Senate. We were never to be ruled by faceless bureaucrats that no one elected. You want to talk about to democracy, the EPA, the ATF, the housing people, the Fed, all of these things that you never elected. You never elected any of those people. And it's okay if they are hired to be in there to make the system work. But instead, they're making the rules which become laws. Only Congress can make laws. But we don't do that anymore. That's why we have to restore the republic. Democracy is happening, and democracy is very important. But we have to restore the republic, because the republic part of our democratic republic is broken. Oh, the lies, and the lies from not only the media, but the so-called experts. When are we going to stop listening to these experts? Well, I'll tell you. Because the rest of that CNN report went on and went back to the people who said we're a republic, not a democracy. And then they couldn't understand, they couldn't define what a republic was. Well, you're of no help. You're of no help. That's why we have the experts. Don't claim something if you don't. All knowledge, all information, everything you believe must be yours. And it must be purchased at the price that apparently is too high for some people to pay, most Americans to pay. The price you have for your opinion is it is your opinion, that you have done some sort of research, you've done some sort of thinking on this, and you haven't taken it from a boob like me and just went, oh yeah, well, he said it, and it sounded really good, so we are a republic, not a democracy. You can't take what I have spent my lifetime learning and studying. You can't take it from me. It must be your own. It's like a testimony of God. If you don't have a testimony that is yours, if you are feasting on somebody else's, you're doomed, okay? It won't work. It will break down, and people will say, well, wait a minute. What about this or this and this? If you haven't thought of that, then you don't really have a testimony. If you haven't thought, when I say, well, what is the difference between a republic and a democracy? If you can't explain that, how do you think your kids are going to explain it? How do you think you can possibly defend the United States of America? If we don't know what our rights are, if we don't know why they were established. Now, let me ask you something. Why would people who say one man, one vote is so important be the leaders on stealing votes? Why would somebody who really truly believes in democracy also at the same time be saying it's about the collective? Why? If you believe in the principle of democracy, that's the individual having a voice. And we have that here in America. That's part one of our republic. The individual has a voice. Now, why does the individual have a voice? Because, again, back to the war in heaven, Christ said, I will atone for all of them individually. It wasn't collective. We can't earn it as an individual. We can't earn it as a collective. But it was personal and individual to each of us. Okay, that's where we get all men are created equal. They're created spiritually equal. It doesn't mean they're born in equal families with equal opportunities or they'll have equal outcomes. It means we all are the same in the spirit. That spark of life is the same in all of us. And we all have the same rights. No matter what station you were born in, no matter who you are, you still have the same basic human right. The Gnostics tried to make this into a 1% kind of deal. The Gnostics were like, yeah, well, not everybody is saved. I mean, those who know, they're going to be saved, but not everybody. This is why we're supposed to treat everyone equally. This is why we're supposed to treat people like our brothers and sisters, because we literally are spiritual brothers and sisters of each other. And if we can get to a point to where we can see the spiritual spark in every human being, even when we meet them, even when we don't like them, even if they're trying to destroy us, they are still that person. They're still a human being, my brother or sister. This is why trials are supposed to be done. Justice is blind. Because you're not supposed to look at the R or the D after their name. You're not supposed to look for the Trump or the Biden. You're supposed to look at the law and the claim of the breaking of the law and the facts, and that's it. With democracies, you get a mob, and in the end, you always get the collective. Both of those are evil.